Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. Today I'm making this beautiful bread called Fougasse. Fougasse is a type of bread that made in Provence, France, but was originated in ancient Rome. Historians say that this bread is supposed to be shaped like a leaf or a sheaf of wheat, but to me it looks exactly like the plant I have in my house that's called Montserrat. Besides its beautiful appearance, this bread is very delicious. It's crusty outside and soft inside. It's perfect for dipping into olive oil, or it could be a beautiful centerpiece for your charcuterie and cheese board. Here is the list of the ingredients that also will be written down in the description box below. Let's get started. We will need 250 grams of bread flour, 150 milliliters of warm water, 1 teaspoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, a teaspoon and a half of active dry yeast, 1 tablespoon of olive oil. For bread topping, I'm gonna use everything bagel seasoning, or you could use sesame seeds. And if you like your bread salty, you could use a finishing salt like this from France called fleur de sel. In a large mixing bowl, sift your bread flour. Bread flour produces baked goods with more structure and chew than all-purpose flour, so I will strongly recommend for you to use that one. Then add your salt and mix. And by the way, bread flour in England called strong flour. Just saying. Now let's wake up the yeast, or at least to figure out if it's alive or not. In a cup of warm water, we're gonna add our sugar and our yeast. We're gonna mix it with a small whisk to try to dissolve the sugar, so mix it a little bit longer and set it aside for 10 minutes. And it's gonna look like this. So it's gonna be very foamy. It means our yeast is good. We're gonna add the olive oil to it and pour this whole mixture to our dry mix. And then you could use the hand mixer with this dough attachments to mix your ingredients, or you can just go ahead and use your hands to mix all your ingredients. But I like to start with those at first, and then I'm gonna move on to mixing my dough by hand. This way I will figure out if I need more water or I could stop right there, but it looks very dry, so I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of water, and then I'm gonna transfer that dough onto the table surface, and the something like granite or marble would be the best for mixing or kneading the dough, because the dough will not stick to it as much. Or a stainless steel would be just ideal if you have a stainless steel countertop. Then we're gonna knead our dough for about 10 minutes. Then put a tablespoon of olive oil into a large bowl. Then we're gonna transfer our dough to it, and then let it proof for 1 hour, an hour and a half. So let's see what's happening here. Our dough have risen and doubled in size. We're gonna transfer it back to the countertop with no flour at this time, and we're gonna knead it for about 5 minutes. Just play with it, and then we're gonna put it in the same bowl again, cover it, and let proof for another 30 minutes. Ideally, rustic breads like Fougasse are baked on the stone, and I have this one. I think I bought it in Williams in Sonoma. I'm gonna take a piece of parchment paper and measure out so it doesn't come off the ends. And this is gonna be our guide to shape our bread. And let's look at our dough again. As you can see, it has more bubbles now, so we're gonna knead it just one more time and shape it into a ball, and then place it on our parchment paper, because now we have to shape it like this. like this plant I have in my entryway, or like this. But try your best. To make it looking more like rustic bread, I'm gonna shape this bread by hands. I mean, you could use the rolling pin, but I think using your hands will give it a little character. So I'm gonna put a little bit of olive oil onto palms of my hands, and I'm gonna start shaping the bread. And as you can see, it's kind of like a heart shape on the bottom, and sort of elongated and tapered on the top. So just use your hands as much as you can, stretching the bread and trying to reach that ideal shape of the Fougasse bread. And I've seen the Fougasse breads out there in the YouTube world, and trust me, not all of them shaped very well. But so we're gonna do our best. Then for our toppings to stick to the bread, we need to apply some olive oil on top of it. And of course you could use the brush, but my hands are already dirty, so I'm gonna use my hands. Then I'm gonna sprinkle some of that everything bagel and a little bit of that fleur de sel. And then we're gonna cut it. So step aside about an inch from each side and cut a vertical line, and then we're gonna cut the lines with 1 inch apart, about 30 degrees each, so it looks like a leaf. Then in order for these cuts to appear after you bread is baked, we need to stretch them out. So we need to stretch them out using the guide, which is our parchment paper. Do not come off the sides. And that's pretty much it. I mean, what do you guys think? We need to cover it just one more time and let it proof for another 10 minutes before it goes in the oven. You could slide a cutting board under for easy transfer. Place the baking stone in the middle rack of your oven and preheat it for 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Then slide your bread on top of your stone and bake it for 20 to 23 minutes or until it is golden brown. This bread is absolutely perfect to enjoy with olive oil, or you could do a charcuterie board and place this bread as a centerpiece in the center of your board. It's gonna look so exquisite. Crunchy, slightly salty, just perfect. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.